Hi there guys, welcome to this video. So today I wanted to answer the question, how long does it take to look like you lift? So that is something that you will wonder when you start lifting, and it doesn't mean that you're not motivated, it doesn't mean that you're motivated. Any people, depending on their motivation, can actually wonder this, because myself, when I started, I was very motivated, but I still wanted to know how long will it take before I look like I lift. I say that because this is the thing that I would ask on the forums, and then people come up to you quite aggressively for no reason and tell you, why do you bother about this? If you're motivated enough, you will find out soon enough. And I never really understood this kind of dramatic answers, and there is nothing wrong with wondering how long it takes to look like you lift, whether you're motivated or not motivated. This is a normal question to wonder when you're starting the practice of bodybuilding or any sort of practice. You want to know how long it will take, to get pretty good at the practice. And so why people don't really like to answer this question, it's because it's quite subjective. I think there are many factors. First, there is the standards that you have yourself. Not everyone will say that someone look like they lift. Others will say after 1 year I'm jacked enough, and other people will say after 5 years. This is only when you start looking good. In my experience, I've witnessed many different type of people, and I could give you, just through my experience, what looking like your lift looks like and how long it would take you to go there. So I think that you don't have to be big to look like you lift, because I think there are some people who are actually very lean and don't have much muscle. They haven't put much muscle on, and they look like they lift because it's simply showing, they're veiny, they've got nice forearms, they've got the jawline, they've got they're just lean enough and just have a little bit of muscle to show that they're aesthetic, that they go to the gym, that they're in shape. And I would say that this is a good goal to reach. And some people, if you're someone who doesn't have much time on your hand, you've got a busy life, etc. Well, there's a difference between wanting to be lean and just add a bit of muscle and look like you're athletic, and actually wanting to look massive. Looking massive will take much more effort, or at least much more years, many years to get there. And I think that I will make another video about this, but for some people, I think that learning about nutrition and training enough to actually train for a few months to a year to actually get a nice lean athletic shape without wanting to be too big is something very attainable, and that not a lot of people are going to go through, because maybe they don't have the right methods, or they just don't want to stay pretty lean all year round. But I think that if this is one of your goals, this is something that you should probably consider, because it doesn't actually take that much work and it just looks incredible. If you're obsessed with the gym and you really love it, then you will really see a difference, and you will really enjoy to try to get bigger and bigger and actually be the biggest you can and the leanest you can. But at the same time, if you're not really obsessed with the gym, then honestly, training for 1 year and just putting on a bit of muscle and be lean enough so it shows is great. It doesn't ask much effort, and you look great. You can have a great jawline, you can have great forearms, and just an athletic, aesthetic shape. So this is a goal that you should probably want to reach if you're someone who has a busy life, and I think you won't regret it. So this type of physique, the model physique, that we see on the magazines, etc. These dudes really aren't that big, but they're just lean and they've put on a bit of muscle, and so they look good. And I think you can reach this type of physique, honestly, after a year of training. A year and a half, it all depends from people. If you're starting really overweight, obviously it's not going to be as easy. If you're someone very skinny, it will take its time, but usually people with actually a skinny physique that are lean naturally will reach this type of physique if they want to after a year and a half of training. So if you want to look like you lift, just being the aesthetic model type physique, then you can actually reach this in a year and a half, a year, if you have the right method, if you know what you're doing. So I think this is pretty encouraging, you will agree. So I don't know if you're a beginner, but if that's the case, then you should know that you can actually reach that in that amount of time if you have the right methods, etc. So I will try to always give you the tips to reach this type of method, and if you wonder in the comments how you can start then, or what to do. I can always also answer you to help you there. Now I want to talk about, someone for the standards. I look actually massive, and I'm filling all my shirts. Then this is a bit different in my opinion. That requires more years to go through, and I think the quite massive type, physique look, you'll actually start changing it after 4 years. 3.5, 4 years of good training is when you start to be looking like the rugby guys. This is after these many years that you start looking like this. So for example, here I'm showing you a few pictures. If this is what you want to reach, I think it will take you 3 or 4 years minimum. That is when you start hitting on the bench press 120 kg, that you started lifting 210, 200 kg, that you start squatting 160 kg. This is the type of physique that you get usually after 3 or 4 years. And so this is a great goal to actually achieve. It just requires more work. And when I say more work, I don't say that it's harder than the first year or anything like this. It's just more years to get there. It's just more patience, but definitely achievable in 3 or 4 years. So I hope that this kind of motivates you, and that you're not losing motivation when I say that this type of physique takes 3 or 4 years, because 3 or 4 years actually go pretty fast. And when you love what you do, which is lifting, it will actually go faster than you think. I wouldn't consider that I was gifted or anything. I was just giving my best all the time. So some people might reach this level quicker, but other people also slower. And I think this also depends on, for example, what you're doing on the side in your life, etc. Or if you're doing another sport, or if you're full-time job, etc. You have a family life, obviously this might take a bit longer. Even though I think that even if you've got a job or something like this, you can actually go to the gym 5 times a week, 4 times a week for an hour and a half, which was pretty much what I was doing to reach this 3 to 4 years massive looking like physique. So I think anyone can actually do this, unless you've got a really physical job and might be harder. I think that if you have a normal job, or if you're going to school, you can actually do these many hours if you really love the gym, and this is maybe your second priority, or one of the things that you really want to invest time in. Now, just for the fun, I will look at a few physiques that I will just research online, random pictures, and I will tell you how long I believe it will take you, working out with the right method, knowing what you're doing, giving out your best every week, every year, how long it will take you to reach these ones. So here we have the physique of some Abercrombie model. So I think this is a good example. I believe you can reach this type of physique in less than 2 years. I think, like I said, 1.5 to 2 years is what you can expect. Same here, another Abercrombie model. I think that this is the type of physique that you can reach after training for between 1.5 and 2 years. If you lean down, this is what you will look like. So indeed, a very good job, a very great physique. You won't look massive, but taking your shirt off, this is what you can look like after 1.5, 2 years of training. Here we go, another one. Here I think you can reach this type of physique after 2.5 years of training very well. If you lean down, you can look like this guy. Right, to finish with the Hollister, Abercrombie type of guys, all these physiques that we see on these pictures, honestly guys, after 2 years of hard training, if you lean down, you can look like all these guys, easy. If you want to start going into the 3-4 years, start looking massive, the 16 inches arms, this is pretty much after 3-4 years, 16 inches arms, you start looking pretty massive. This is a good example, this dude here. After 3 years of training, I believe you can, reach this type of level, being a little bit bulky.